seconds.
Because I help it out the fire.
It's got a little firefighter badge,
And
little
in 5,
sticker badge.
Why is it
there.
so late today?
3, 2, 1. Roll the open.
Hello and welcome to Weekend Double. I'm Gerald. That's Nick. How you doing, Nick?
It's Turfway, and you're talking Turfway with me. So how could it possibly be bad? The best track in the country, and finally Gerald's going to talk about it. What a day for me!
Well, we're here for a 20-point race, the John Battaglia Memorial, and I was really excited about this race about 3 days ago until we heard that First Resort, who I'm pretty high on for the Derby, scratched. I refresh my memory. Something in the hind quarter or something like that.
Yeah, he was sore
Tightness.
sore coming out of a training earlier this week. So it doesn't sound like a big problem, just more of a problem today, I think.
Well, that's good. That's good news. At least he's not off the trail as of right now, and who knows? Maybe he'll come back in the 50-point race at Turfway next month. We'll see. But we had a First Resort scratch, and then we also had a couple more. The
4 calling
the,
card,
the 4
who
calling card
was a big deal
and
for me, and then the 11, which is not a big deal for anybody, who was a 30-1 shot. I don't think had a chance.
Breton's Brayton's Baytown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning on you for this race because there are what 3 that have raced at Turfway Park. Let's see the 2,
Pretty
the
much all of them
3,
have. A couple of them haven't. The
4,
12 hasn't, but yeah,
5.
most of them have.
Yeah, I know you like the 5, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, my top pick was going to be First Resort, and after that, I don't have a clue. This race isn't going to have a big impact on my future bets because it's only a 20-point race, and all of the other horses that are in this, if they win, they're still not in the Derby. They're going to have more work to do. But I think we're about 10 minutes from post, so I'll just quickly go over the field here. And if you want to chime in anything, I'll let you. The 1 at 38-1 is Spirit Rags.
He's raced 11 times and has 1 win.
The 2 is Shan, 49-1.
He was 32-1 in the prep for this race, and he ended up 3rd, but he set a very slow fractions and kept going and held on for 3rd. Lost to Baby Max, who's the 7 in this race, and to Chunk of Gold, who we saw run 2nd last week. So the way this track's playing, I would include Shan on literally any ticket you're playing, including a exacta or a win bet. He's a legit shot, in my opinion.
The 3 is probably the one I would lean on if I had to make a pick, and that's Studley Do Right. Studley Do Right was 4th in the Jerome, and as far as I can tell, maybe a little class here might be enough to win this race. But the 3, Studley Do Right at 6-1.
Yeah, I would toss him based on losing as a 9-5 favorite in the Jerome and running 4th. So I was kind of against him, and he's not taking as much money as I would think he would based on, running in the Jerome and being the favorite and in running 4th in the Remsen. So I think everybody else is with him. But a Nyquist out of a Curlin mare, he's bred to run really well, but he is a Maryland bred. So I'm against, and apparently a lot of other people are too.
The 5 is California Burrito at 8-1. I know you have a lot to say about this one.
I really like that one. He ran 2nd in an allowance race back at Churchill in November without Lasix. Came back and ran an allowance race in December and kind of was bad as 7-5, and then came back and ran 4 weeks later and just went gate to wire on a very slow pace and set very slow fractions and just ran away from a way overmatched field. At 5-1, which is what he looks like he's going to be projected to close at, is huge for me. I mean, that's I think a very good horse. It's bred to run for a long distance and getting a good price on him. So I'm kind of in love.
The 6 is Banks. The Banks was 7th in the Leonatus at Turfway.
Yep. He ran seventh in that race. That Chunk of Gold ran second. Baby Max won. And I just said Shan had kind of an easy lead. Banks had the exact opposite. He was pretty much last out of the gate, pretty much last all the way around, and never ran. But he was 2-1 in that field. But after coming out of an allowance race that he won by 2 lengths, and after breaking his maiden the race before that back in December, he actually really likes the synthetic, and he's actually really good, and was a favorite the last 4 races. He was a favorite at a maiden claimer race at Keeneland back in October. 18-1, 17-1 is outrageously dumb, and you should bet a win bet at the very least on that one, because he's very good.
Well, the other one that I like is the number 7, taking a lot of money though at 9-5. That's Baby Max. Luis Saez now rides. That's one of the reasons why I like this one. This one was the winner of that Leonidas listed stakes race.
Yep.
What do you think about this one?
He's really good. He's not 9-5 good, right? He was 6-1 in the morning line because First Resort was in this race, and he's kind of become the default, pick because he won the last race. He doesn't want to go a mile and a 16th, which is what this one is. He didn't really want to go a mile when he won at a mile. So I'm not against him. I mean, Luis Saez is going to be able to get him to run the best race he's ever ran. No disrespect to Abel Cedillo, who was taken off today on this horse. So I guess big disrespect to Abel Cedillo. But he's really good for this race. He's not really good for Derby, I don't believe. But he's a Maximus Mischief, which is an Into Mischief, which in my opinion is a sprinter. And then going these 2 turns, I think it's just going to be too far for him. I think he's going to be fine, but it was a slow pace set in that Leonidas back in 5 weeks ago. So I think it's going to be too far for him.
Well, I'll be using Baby Max with Dudley Do Right in an exacta, so I'm just kind of throwing a dart out there. But the 8 at 11-1 is King of Ashes.
Yeah, this is where you're going to start having me have not much to say. These Gulfstream shippers that have won on synthetic that come here have not been great. Brendan Walsh is not a bad trainer. He's a great trainer. He's winning at 20% at Turfway, so he's definitely taking a shot. I think it's more of an owner choice to take a shot here, though. I don't think this horse is going to win.
The 9 is a scratch. That's First Resort. The 10 coming in hot at 5-1.
Has 2 wins. He won a 6.5. Both of them sprints. So he won an allowance race. He won a stakes race. Both sprints. Beat Touchy, who ran 3rd last week at Sunland. So he has some class. He fits. I just don't know that he wants to go a mile and a 16th, and they've never taken him a mile and a 16th. So it sort of feels like they're taking their chance because they can. They kind of earned the right to at least give this horse a shot of going longer, and maybe he wants to go longer, and maybe it'll be great. I'm gonna let him beat me at what's 5-1, looks like maybe 6-1 when they go off. So a good horse, but probably over his head in distance, I think.
The 11 is a scratch. The 12 is Maximum Promise at 3-1. Taking a little bit of money here. Maximum Promise, 5th in the Lecomte.
Yep, and he was way off the pace in that Lecomte, and he was one that made a good move and just kind of got stopped towards the middle of the stretch, 8th pole or so, and then kept going, but not a whole lot going on there. But he's been working with one that I believe ran 2nd in a maiden race today. He's been working at Fairgrounds and working pretty well down there. So it's an interesting place to put him. McPeak isn't normally one seeking the Derby in this way, where he's like shipping them all over the place, but maybe after last year he is now. But broke its maiden at 3-5 at Ellis, 2nd out in August, came back in the Lecomte, and was 7-1 in the Lecomte with a 13-horse field. So a somewhat impressive amount of money that one took. So probably relatively live, and I don't love 3-1, but I'm definitely playing that one underneath.
How about the 13, 57-1 Special Caliber? I feel like this one might be worth putting in underneath.
So my notes here are that back on December 19th, that the time form numbers were good, and he ran a 78. And then when he broke his maiden at 45-1, going a mile on January 18th, it says that that the horses that have run back have improved their time form figures, but he ran a 79. So he's going to need to improve significantly to catch up with these ones that are running hundreds and upper 90s. So I think he's just too slow, but definitely fits based on, where he's sitting, and a fairly good horse winning at a mile. I just think he's over his head probably.
Yeah, I think at 55-1, this is one you maybe put in third or fourth if you're playing a super, or
Yep.
third if you're playing the try. 14 at 26-1 is Maitre D.
Yeah, Munnings on the bottom means sprint in my world. I love Munnings on sprinters. I will continue to say they're great sprinters, but if I see a Munnings in a Derby or Derby prep, I'm going to be against. They ran him at 6.5 and he won, broke his maiden here, back on December 28th. Came back and ran terribly in the Mucho, or in the Swale, which is a 7 furlongs down at Gulfstream, and ran 6 out of 6 and never closer than 5 lengths. So that Swale was not very good. So I'm not real
for the 43rd running of the
thrilled
John
with him.
Battaglia
So
Memorial.
25-1 feels about right to me.
Okay, so your top pick.
I'm on the 5 as my most likely winner in my world. The 6 is the best value that I'm gonna. If he's in the top 3, I better be making money unless something crazy happens. So I'm playing the 5 and the 6 kind of all over the place. 7 for sure, covering in the exactas, and he'll be in the win bet as well, or winning in an exacta trifecta type bets.
And I'm going with 3 and 7 in an exacta box. I'm not picking one to win. I'm going to go 3 and 7 exacta box. Baby Max and Studley Do Right.
Makes sense to me.
It looks like they're about ready to go.
The last of 11 3-year-olds.
You can hear audio.
Yep. 2, 5, 6, 7, 12 exact, or trifecta box is what I just played because of last week. So hopefully I don't hurt myself.
All right.
And there they go in the 43rd running of the John Battaglia Memorial. Maitre D quickly away from the far outside.
And there he
Baby
goes.
Max is showing pace. Luis Saez has him now reserved in the 3rd position as California Burrito contests the top spot. California Burrito inside of Maitre D. And Baby Max will set up shop in the 3rd spot. And right there with him along the inside is Shan. Banks from between runners coming in hot, 3 deep, entering that clubhouse run as they get to the backstretch. After him, Special Caliber midfield, little less than 6 from the pace. Studley Do Right's along the rail. King of Ashes is in the 2 path. Maximum Promise is second last, and Spirit Rags is the last of all. California Burrito with the lead, and right there with him, Maitre D, and Baby Max is on top of the flow, 3 deep. Shan with a great ground-saving journey from off the pace this afternoon. Banks has 4 lengths to find as they go past the half-mile marker. To his outside is coming in hot, who has been a little wide throughout. Studley Do Right with 6 lengths to find as they get to the 3/8. Break of 4 lengths to Maximum Promise, now hitting his stride, 3 deep. To his inside, Special Caliber, then King of Ashes, and Spirit Rags is still at the back. California Burrito. Here comes Baby Max. Baby Max turns it up on California Burrito, who responds. California Burrito turns into the stretch with the lead in the John Battaglia Memorial. And Baby Max is testing him at the 8th pole. Baby Max now puts his nose in front. Right there with him from the inside remains California Burrito. Nobody else is close to them. California Burrito inside of Baby Max. California Burrito way out in the center of the track from Baby Max. Maximum Promise 3rd. I'm going to Banks and Studley Do Right.
Doesn't want the distance. He's a good horse. He doesn't want it. I don't think California Burrito wants to go much further either,
Burrito
based on that.
Baby
But
Max putting on a show in the John Battaglia Memorial, 145 and 98/100ths.
Yeah, not kind of the time I expected in this kind of race here at Turfway. One that I can't really get excited about, but
I will tell you that he won on dirt at Churchill, and I know that's an angle you love. He broke his maiden there in a maiden claimer, but a 150 maiden claimer, and then came back in an allowance and ran second there to Magnitude. So he fits. I don't know that he's going to be a Derby horse. I don't know he's going to win the Derby. I'm not going to go that far, but they're definitely pointing him that way. And Tom Drury is a good enough trainer that he's going to give him at least a shot here to do it. And I think that, if they continue on this Turfway route, I think he's going to, hit the board next out unless some killer comes in, which is, unlikely given what we know is going on at Turfway, but he seems like a good one.
Yeah, I think this is the right route for California Burrito if you're trying to get into the Derby. It's probably the easiest route, and he's got 20 points now. A third place finish in the next prep will probably at Turfway will probably get him in. 'Cause that's 50, 20, yeah,
100,
yeah,
50,
35.
25, 15, something like that.
Yeah, 35 points might get you in. But yeah, I think this one just probably about the best thing about California Burrito. If he gets in the Derby, is one I don't have to worry about betting on.
Oh,
He's going to save me.
You're just going to.
He's going to save me some money. He's going to save me money because this year I'm narrowing it to about 8 that can win, and I'm just going to load up on exactas with some long shots underneath, but in my future pools. But
so mean. I'm going to buy you a California burrito. Is what I'm going to do. You're going to come over. We're going to eat California burritos together, and we're going to watch the Jeff Ruby Stakes, and we're going to enjoy California burritos while California burrito wins. That's what we're going to do.
But you're right. I do love the one win on the Churchill Downs Dirt. I love that angle. I totally overlooked that in Rich Strike. I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's because we only had less than 12 hours or whatever, 24 hours on that one. But that's one angle I will never overlook again. But California Burrito picks up 20 points. Baby Max picks up 10. I would be surprised if either of these actually get in the Derby, but who knows? We'll see. We had to cover it.
Yeah, I'm interested in what the ride was on the 12 because he was flying late and he picked off the 6 and wasn't going to threaten the winner. But if he was held up in traffic, which is entirely possible coming from that far out and that wide on this course, because then they get to the first turn pretty quickly. It'll be interesting if that 12 was kind of held out wide for a while and then had to fight through some traffic because he may be one to keep an eye on moving forward because Maximum Security hasn't produced a lot of 2-year-old yet, but the ones he has I've seen have been pretty good going long.
Well, and my guess is Maximum Promise probably has run on Churchill Dirt too. I mean, if it's a Kenny McPeak, so I'll have to go look back at Maximum Promise's.
He was at Ellis, so he ran a turf race at Ellis. Then he ran a dirt race at 3 to 5, and then he was just off. He came back to the fairgrounds last out, and like I said, took some money. So he may be one to keep an eye on. He may go to fairgrounds, the Louisiana Derby type. Maybe he'll point to the Keeneland. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it's kind of disappointing weekend after all the hype earlier. We thought First Resort was going to be in this race, and then tomorrow Bullard spiked a fever, and he's been pulled from the Rebel. The Rebel's still a really good race, but I think that was your dog, right? That's not mine. But we'll be here tomorrow for the Rebel. I believe that's around 3:15 is when we're going to start the show. So if you're watching live or the replay, join us back here as we kind of jump back in another Derby prep. The Rebel is a 50-point race, so we'll be anxious to see who comes in first and second in that. Off the top of your head, is there anything you want to add about the Rebel before we get out of here?
It's going to be an interesting race. There's some good horses in there, so I haven't finished all my handicapping though. You keep talking about this Baffert, and I keep saying no, and so I'm waiting for Baffert to stuff me in a locker and make me feel like an idiot because I'm going to say that Bob Baffert's going to ship to Oaklawn and not just crush. So likely who's going to win, but I'll probably be against him.
Well, we'll be here covering it. This was just a quick show. We wanted to show this Battaglia just because it is part of the Derby Trail, and that's it. Any closing thoughts?
I'm going to go get a California burrito for dinner, I think.
All right, Nick. Well, I'll see you here tomorrow around 3:15-ish. I think is when we're going to start. I think the race is like 3:25. We're going to try and keep these shows at less than 30 minutes. It's just easier for anybody that happens to be watching. So that's it from Turfway Park. California Burrito picks up 20 points on the Derby. Baby Max picks up 15. And I don't even think it was a 15, 2015, 10.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
2010, 652, I think is what it is.
Yeah. That sounds
All right.
right.
Okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow back here, the weekend double team. We're signing off. We'll see you tomorrow.